enough is enough.
Today, I am announcing that in the coming weeks, I will be resigning as a member of the United States Senate.
I think they're afraid that I'm going to take Alabama values to Washington.
I had hoped earlier he would withdraw as a candidate. That obviously is not going to happen.
Come on, brother. If you're going to write a check, right? Don't give the man $100.
Doing something as monumental as tax reform, it is not easy.
Here's the bill as it's written. Here's the modifications that are in it. I can read one word. It's called add this language.
Good morning and welcome to Sunday Square Off. I'm Bram Resnick. On today's show, the Trent Franks shocker. The 8-term Arizona congressman quits after allegations he offered a staffer $5 million to have his baby. Then Arizona School Superintendent Diane Douglas facing a re-election fight, what she's done to win another term. Plus, who's really pushing for Arizona school vouchers? We get the inside story. And we verify the impact of a gun bill passed by the House last week. But first, Congressman Trent Franks admits he had a conversation with 2 female staffers about having his baby as surrogates. 24 hours later, we learned he allegedly offered one of them $5 million and a contract to do it. Franks resigned immediately. Political analyst Chris Herstam and political consultant Barrett Marson join me to talk about one of the weirdest political scandals we have seen and what comes next. Chris, a lot of people had never heard about Trent Franks until this happened. You've known him a long time, known of him. Give us a brief summary. Who is Trent Franks?
Well, I served in the Arizona legislature with Trent Franks. He was a one-termer. He barely got elected by 150 votes. I got to tell you, Trent Franks was considered, whatever word you want to use, weird, creepy, odd, even back in those days. This was before the religious right had taken over basically the Republican Party on social issues. So Franks was unusual back then. He couldn't get reelected. He ended up serving in the disgraced Governor Ev Meekham's administration, where he was director of Children's Office. But he got in trouble there, too. He paid out illegal contracts, 60 grand worth, and got in trouble there. He eventually, after he left the Meekham administration and couldn't get back in the legislature, founded the predecessor organization that today has become the Center for Arizona Policy, Kathy Herod's group. And he's always been tied into James Dobson's Focus on the Family network.
Far-right, Christian, conservative. Important to note in this scandal, Paul Ryan told him to resign. The key factor or allegation involving the $5 million surrogate was brought to light by a Christian conservative from his wing. Are there more shoes, Barrett, or babies to drop here?
I don't know if there will be more, simply because he is now out of office. The need and the feeding frenzy will stop now. But if he had tried to hang on, then I think there probably would have been many more journalists trying to find out things. But I think we have probably just about heard the last of Trent Franks.
Is this a new normal for all members of Congress? We're now aware of a harassment fund, a workplace settlement fund. Democrat Raul Grijalva's had to pay $50,000 out of that. No sexual misconduct allegations there. Yeah. We now know this fund.
Right. That was actually out of his committee.
His committee, you're correct.
But I actually believe that there may be one more congressman who would have to resign before the next election. Everything points to many congressmen so far all men. Congressmen are under investigation. The rumors are rampant amongst Arizona media and the chattering class, the political consultancy class, that there could be one more congressman who has to go from Arizona.
Republican congressman?
It's a bipartisan thing.
Okay. Next steps. Governor Ducey is likely to call the special primary election next week.
Yep. He must do it Monday.
Must do it Monday. Hours to do it. It's going to be sometime in February, perhaps March, short time span. Who's got the edge? Who's running? Who has an edge? And how much does Donald Trump's endorsement matter in a district he won by 20 points, Chris?
Well, I think there's probably, you could come up with a list of 7 or 8 people that want to run. The key is with regards to sitting legislators. If they have to resign their sitting safe legislative seat to run in this very large, weird primary that's coming up, then that may reduce the herd a bit. I think Debbie Lesko would be the strongest candidate, but she may have to give up her legislative seat to run. And that
Garrett's got some important information.
Yeah, you know, first of all, I live in the district. I may form an exploratory campaign myself. But yes, I believe that they will miss it by 4 days. That the last year of their term would be January 14th. The signature deadline would be about January 10th or 11th. So they will miss it by 3 or 4 days. If you're a legislator and you're looking at that seat, you are almost definitely going to have to resign your seat. And that will, I agree, thin the herd a little bit, but you're still going to see someone like Debbie Lesko go all in, I am sure. Someone like Phil Lovis, who is in the Trump administration, he is likely in. Bob Stump has already announced that he is in. So it will be a still sizable contingent of Republicans. And remember, the primary is the election.
I want to mention Chris Sylvester is in already and has been in.
Bob Stump's problem is just in the summer of 2016, in the Capital Times, he trashed almost President Donald Trump, calling him everything in the book. And I wonder if that will come back to haunt him.
Real quick, Steve Montenegro, state senator running for Secretary of State. He just the other day touted Trent Franks' endorsement that Trent Franks wants me to run. Why would you want to? And Steve Montenegro has worked for Trent Franks in his district office.
He's worked for him. And now I think Steve Montenegro has to answer, did he know the women? What did he know about these allegations, if he knew anything? He's going to have to answer some hard questions,
Why would you want Trent Franks?
Well, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
15 seconds, please.
Because there's no integrity left in politics. That's why. It doesn't matter whether you've done all these horrible things. It's what your right-wing religious right litmus test is to win Republican primaries.
Remember, Trent Franks did win 8 elections in that district.
Which says a lot about the Republican Party.
All right, Barrett Marson, Chris Herstam, thanks so much for joining us.